Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. Welcome back to another edition of Community Notes, Violating People. This is a regular segment on the channel, and in case you don't know, Community Notes are a communal fact-check system on Twitter where qualified users can leave a note underneath a tweet providing additional context, and if that gets enough upvotes from the community, it is publicly applied to the tweet, often dispelling misinformation and also leading to some really funny results, as we'll see in this video. So let's begin with this note right here. So this is a very simple and powerful one. So this user on a tweet with 470,000 likes, by the way, said, "You think the itsy bitsy spider cared about the rain? No, it climbed the spout again. Lock in." So very motivating words. Unfortunately, it was hit with a note saying this: "It's important to note that the sun came out and dried up all the rain." Yes. A very poetic sequence of interactions here. I mean, honestly, like this screenshot belongs in a museum somewhere, but that is a very simple example of a community note. Now let's look at a little more convoluted one, beginning with this series of tweets right here. This is a screenshot of Chibi Reviews talking about this Crunchyroll post here. They say, "Drop the best anime quote of all time." And of course, this is a quote from Frieren saying, "The more you desire coexistence, the more people die by your hands," of course referring to demons in that universe. And this user says, "I'm told this is not fascism." Ah yes, fascism is killing demons in Frieren who are objectively evil with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Now the note from the previous tweet has disappeared over the past couple of days, but luckily we have another example from this user quoting the previous one saying, "I'm sorry, but this Frieren show is suspect as hell. And if the demons are just all evil just cuz, and they kill just cuz they like it, that's fascistic messaging." Well, let's see some other messaging in the form of this note, which says, "Demons in Frieren are portrayed as a race of predators completely lacking in empathy and are utterly incapable of coexisting with humans due to their nature of being predators who only uses their appearance and speech to catch their human prey." So that settles that. No, it is not fascism to kill demons in Frieren. I think everyone who's sane understands that. But looking at this note, of course, these demons in Frieren, they're trying to catch their human prey. Now, in real life, you guys deserve something much more appetizing than that barbaric option, and you can get some help with that thanks to today's sponsor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Giga Chats at HelloFresh have returned to sponsor this video. Click the link in the description or use my code and get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. Outside the US, the local discount will apply. Now, what is HelloFresh? It is a trusted meal delivery service. Each order is packed with fresh ingredients. Everything arrives pre-portioned and right at your doorstep without the hassle of having to leave the house to shop at the grocery store. Because let's face it, why spend your time there when you could be at home watching people get destroyed by community notes on Twitter? And with easy-to-follow recipes, HelloFresh will have you dishing out banger meals with almost no effort at all. As I always say, if you're familiar with this channel, you know I only promote services I stand by. I'm not just a partner with HelloFresh, but also a loyal customer. I also love HelloFresh because they offer not only delicious meals, but also high protein and diet conscious meal options for people like me who want to maximize their gains at the gym. So if you're interested in trying out HelloFresh, click the link in the description or scan the QR code with your phone. Welcome back, guys. So now we're going to look at yet another hilarious example of a user trying to fix someone else's art, and then it ends absolutely horribly, and rightfully so. So it begins with this art featuring Batman and Catwoman here, and then this user, in their infinite wisdom, decided to blackwash Catwoman and say this: "Fixed your whitewashing. Next time, remember that Catwoman is, always was, and always will be a black woman. Thanks." And you can see based on the screenshot, it was never doing well, okay? They had 82 likes and about 300 quotes dunking on them. And of course, they would be hit with a note, as you can see here, saying, while various portrayals of Catwoman have been black, she has been portrayed by white women, including her first comic book appearance and first live-action adaptation. Now you're probably wondering, why are these all screenshots, Rev? Well, this user has been nuked into orbit. In fact, they were so humiliated after getting hit with the note that they changed their name briefly to okay, leave me alone, and then eventually, not long after that, completely deactivated from social media, which is really just a poetic end to a very bad sequence. Not just trying to fix someone's art, which is already very disrespectful, but they're also blackwashing the character while claiming that is canonically correct, their version of it, which clearly was not, based on the note, or based on anyone who's been paying attention to Catwoman at all, whether it's in the live-action adaptations or the comic books. But let's move on to another very bizarre situation. So you have this VTuber down here posting this karaoke night type scenery here. Looks good, model looks good, everything looks fun. Except for this user, who quoted them saying, "This is so sad," replies in that thread, "hordes of thirsty men lusting after drawings and 3D model characters run by other men." Now, unfortunately, this is a scenario where you have me involved in this whole thing, but I'm not pretending to be anyone. But you can see the note says this: "While male VTubers do exist, the assumption that all female VTubers are men is incorrect. Midas is a woman, and the majority of female VTubers are also women. This claim is outdated and often used to misrepresent the VTuber community." And of course, this particular VTuber is a woman, and there's no reason to not suspect so. So this user is really just kind of projecting their own insecurities about the subject. And then someone says this reply down here, and they reply by saying, "It's funny to see all the responses from your simp army. What are you guys even doing? You are young. You guys should be chasing after real women instead of you descend upon me because I made an observation. It's Friday night, fellas. Stop smoking weed and go out and date people. I'm out." Interesting. Seems like a lot of projection. But yeah, we've seen this happen many times before. And here's a funny obligatory Shondo clip on the subject.
Draw a nice picture.
Grow up, mate.
Go outside, that's a little far.
Real voice slip. Oh, did I hit the button again? I accidentally hit the button that
Turns off my voice changer.
and turn it back on now. Are we alright? Do I sound cute again? It's all good. Thank goodness I got a bit scared when I accidentally turned it. I mean, accidentally hit the funny button. Yeah, it'd be a bit scary if I accidentally turned it off all stream. I wanna go for a pint tonight. I'm a cute anime girl. I don't go down to the pub, mate. Yeah, imagine if I was a man in real life.
Imagine.
That'd be a bit funny, wouldn't it? Be a bit silly. Oh, you
idiots! You didn't tell me!
The vocal range is really impressive besides, just the meme itself. But anyways, let's move on to the next series of interactions here. So recently there's been a very weird feud going on, particularly in like the related gacha communities between male enjoyers of the medium versus female enjoyers in various series that are heavily populated one way or another based on gender. And there's kind of this argument a lot of people are raising in certain communities that basically they're trying to say that any gacha game and the fan service that comes with it that's directed towards women is somehow different than the type of stuff that is directed towards men and the same counterparts, like as if somehow it's different. But we see this interaction. This person says one of them completely dehumanizes women and got lollies in it. The other lets you do cute selfies with your characters with stickers and all, and it also got other female characters in it. So there's this divide between love in deep space and Nikke here. The note is devastating. Okay, that last user was hit with this saying, "Nikke's story is about giving humanity to artificial soldiers. Love in deep space let you have the naked characters whispering to you in bed in first-person perspective and touch them around. And the latest event have those characters in what is clearly BDSM gear." Like, can we stop pretending like there's some sort of a difference between gacha games and fan service directed towards men versus female? Okay, everyone's a bit freaky, okay? It's very strange to act like there isn't some sort of there's some sort of difference between the two, okay? People are enjoying fan service one way or another. Let's not act like there's anything really different going on here. And this post is very similar. Okay, this user referring to this art that says women's romance with this example, and then men's romance with this harem of what appears to be cat girls, right? And this user, with the tune of 100,000 likes, says, I don't think most men know what women truly fantasize about, and this post proves it. So first of all, highly disagree. Second of all, you can see the note, very simple, very devastating. It says, this comic was drawn by a woman. And here's the actual artist, and they say this. First, I am a woman. Second, this is a joke based on the extremes of books. Third, both examples are based on real books I read for research on another project, both mega sellers. Lastly, I can't stress this enough, it's a joke. Read whatever makes you happy. That is the very fair and appropriate response to people getting upset about that comic. Yes, there's probably some truth to it in the most extremes, but also at the very, very minimum, it's a joke. Stop taking it so seriously. People on Twitter just cannot take a joke, and we all know that at this point. But here's the next one. Very bizarre situation. This was posted the other day. So this person posts this video saying Elon Musk walks off and leaves his 4-year-old son wandering off stage by himself. This clip legitimately disturbs and saddens me. And you can see this is what they're referring to. Elon walks out here. They begin together. He walks out. His son's kind of dragging a little bit behind. And then we're given the impression by this clip that he just left. He just pieced out. His son left behind. But then the note says this. In the full video below, you can see Elon turning around and waiting for his son. And if you look at the full clip that they left out, you can see he waits for his son and then walks off with him. Okay, I know a lot of people don't like Elon Musk, and you don't have to, by the way, but this is very strange stuff. Like, this is derangement syndrome levels here, where you're intentionally clipping off something like this to give the impression he abandoned his son at whatever event this was. That's very strange. Very strange lengths people will go to try to justify hating someone when they could probably find more legitimate reasons if they actually gave it a real effort. But let's move on to the next note. So there's a whole discussion about lolly characters in anime, and you don't really need any additional context beyond what's being said here by this user who has an issue with these tropes. They say, I thought you were against lolly, but I guessed wrong when I saw the beginning comment. You know that lollies are literal children, right? Voiced with child actors. I am so unbelievably confused. Also, you know that drawings can be traced, right? With literal minors, right? Yeah, that would be illegal content right there, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about anime characters here. But this person is making the wild claim that lolly characters in anime are voiced by child actors, which is the most insane claim I've seen in quite some time involving anime. And the note, of course, tries to shut that down, saying most lolly and shota characters are voiced by adult women. The OP is making an emotional argument and uses over-exaggerated, alarmist language to avoid comments which would contradict their worldview. They should make this kind of like the generic template that could be applied to every single community note ever applied, because this is exactly what people do on Twitter. They try to make an overly emotional argument and use exaggerated, alarmist language to try to basically make it so if you disagree with their worldview at all, you must be something absolutely terrible based on their own language. But of course, people would point out examples of characters like this one from Pokemon, saying actually they are voiced by 59-year-old women, which, by the way, many such cases in the industry. But let's move on to the next note. I actually covered this briefly on the alt channel, but I want to give this to you guys here if you missed it, because I think this was a very ridiculous attempt at a post or a joke here by YouTube creators, their official account on Twitter. They said this: whispered during a voiceover and realized we may have just started an ASMR channel by accident. Oops. The note, of course, just comes in guns a-blazing, saying YouTube has a long history messing with ASMR channels and videos, removing them due to supposed sexual content and automatically denying the appeals. And they give a whole host of examples here, and people were dunking on this. If you're not familiar with how ASMR works on YouTube, especially with VTubers in particular, they crack down on anything. Okay, now there's of course some bad actors making very adult content on YouTube, and they're getting rightfully demonetized or whatever, but there are many examples of people just like making the wrong noise, right? A completely benign one, but somehow the bot system picks it up as something that is lewd, and they're done. Like, account might, so there's examples of accounts just being gone, one shot gone over something that was completely benign. So a lot of people were not happy to see this and were dunking on YouTube creators, and yeah, deservedly so. But here's one more update. I actually talked about this in a recent video as well, but it got a official note applied to it. So there was this whole talk here on this original tweet talking about how anime fans were seen as weirdos and they made their own subculture, and then normies during the pandemic started to like anime and then basically try to force out the original fans out of their own space, which I think is a very accurate description of what's happened over the past couple of years, especially since the pandemic. Then you have this saying, it actually went more like this: anime is niche but respected hobby. Weirdos find anime. Weirdos create insular, self-congratulatory subculture shunning non-weirdos. Normal fans are pushed out. Anime is stigmatized. Normal fans try to return. Weirdos throw a hissy fit. Yeah, me when I'm trying to rewrite history. And the note catches that and says, in recent times, anime has become more mainstream. To claim it has been long since perceived as a respected hobby, however, ignores the historical context that anime fans were frequently viewed in a less than favorable light just for enjoying anime. And anyone who's been around for more than the last 10 years, you know that people would get bullied in school for liking anime, for example. It was a very common thing to see. So trying to claim otherwise, clearly bogus. The pandemic definitely changed things and how people viewed anime, and it's definitely been a different environment. And that's why I think we have a lot of crazy stuff going on Twitter and people being extremely hostile while not respecting the medium they claim to love so much. But let's move on to the final note. This is a weird one, ladies and gentlemen. No DNA needed with these cats. And for some reason, this video is AI generated. This is odd to me, right? You're a cat-themed gimmick account. Do you need AI? Like, posting cats on the internet is an automatic win. It's the easiest thing to ever do, and yet you have to use AI. It's not even like anyone's mad about this. It's just strange. It's just a strange thing. But on that note, we're going to end this video. So as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.